I was born and raised Catholic, and I know a lot of people in other denominations, and we share the Lord and the good things of God. But I never have anyone ask me about, and I always share with them that I'm Catholic, but I never had them question me about the Catholic faith, or I never have them say anything. And I feel as a Catholic, I should have a zeal, a desire to want to witness my Catholic faith and have people, be interested in it. And I don't have that. And I've been sharing for about 6 or 7 years now. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, John, what I would say is, number one, 1 Peter 3:15 tells us always be prepared to give an account to give a defense to anyone who calls you to account. So I tell people, I say, well, that's not telling you to go out and stand on the street corner and preach the gospel, although it's not saying you can't, and you can if you want to, but basically it's saying be prepared for when someone comes and asks you a question. Now, the situation you're describing is you're in there, you have friends and acquaintances that you're dealing with who are not Catholic, but they never ask you any questions, so you're a little frustrated about that. I would say ask them questions about their faith. What church, what does your church believe about this? Or I was reading this book and it's really interesting. Would you mind reading it? I'd like to get your opinion on it. And I tell people a lot of time to, one of my strategies, apologetic strategies I teach folks is called the ignorant Catholic approach. And basically it's, well, I don't know, but I will find out and get back to you. But it's also, I'm Catholic and I know I don't know the Bible as well as you do, but could you help me with this scripture verse? There's, and I do that because a lot of people are told Catholics don't know the Bible. So you're just going along with what people have been told, and they say, well, what about this passage here where it says this? How do you interpret that? Don't say, Catholics believe this and that. Say, I was reading this and I know what I think about it, but how would you interpret this verse? Could you, I'd really like your position on, or what would your pastor say about this? Maybe get into a discussion that way. Or again, just ask about their church. What do they believe? Do they believe in once saved, always saved? What do you think about this rapture stuff? The Left Behind books. Have you read those? What do you think about those? Just start asking questions and genuinely be curious, because I always tell people, you can't respond, you can't give a good answer or a good defense to someone's questions about your faith unless you have a good understanding of where they're coming from. Why are they asking this question? What do they believe and why do they believe it? Well, once you know that, you've got a good basis for giving them the Catholic version of things and showing them, well, this is why Catholics believe what we do, and this is, how it stacks up against what you're talking about here.
Now, there's another side of this also, let me add, and it's not aimed at our caller, but John, I was a Protestant for 40 years and never had a Catholic come to me and talk to me about the Catholic faith. And sometimes, a couple things. I think we take for granted what we have, and maybe we've lost enthusiasm about what we have, but also maybe because of the malaise that has in some ways crept into, not the church, but in maybe the lives and thinking of many of the people of the church, that there are a lot of people who don't think it's important to be Catholic anymore, or that it's not charitable to tell people about our faith, that it really doesn't matter what you believe or what church you go to, and that isn't what the church teaches. And so again, I'm not aiming it at this caller, that was his problem, but I do think that an awful lot of Catholics need to rediscover the necessity of the Catholic Church, the necessity of Catholic teaching, the necessity of proclaiming the faith.
I agree. And I tell people, a lot of people will tell me, and it's always Catholics, you can't tell people they're wrong. Well, why not? We believe they're wrong. No, we don't. Well, the church believes they're wrong because the church teaches this as truth, and therefore it necessarily has to mean that this, that is counter to what the church teaches, is wrong. Do you believe what the church teaches? Well, yes. Then you believe they're wrong. No, I don't. I'm like, come on, there's a problem here, but you're absolutely right. And one thing I try to tell people is Catholics for too long, I've sensed that we've had the, we're inside our castle. We draw up the drawbridge, and we say, "You guys leave us alone. We'll leave you alone. Leave us alone. We'll leave you alone." I say you got to lower the drawbridge and you got to go charging out, because we've got the fullness of the truth, and it's an incredible thing. And that's Catholics haven't been taught how to evangelize in many respects, and that's what I was saying to John is, well, maybe your way of evangelizing might be ask questions first, and then the questions will start coming to you. But we have to evangelize. We're called to it by our baptism. We've got to do it, folks.
There's a little ice cream place in our town that one time was voted or awarded the best ice cream place in America by USA Today. And imagine if you found out you were down there and the owner said, "I'll tell you what, you tell everybody that gets here between now and 5 o'clock and they got a free hot fudge sundae." Everybody tell. Well, you could either just say, "Oh, that's a good idea and I'll just go on with my business," or you can sit, that's one thing you can do, and just ignore it, right? Number two, you could have one yourself and not tell everybody. Or you could say, this is exciting, and go out and tell your friends.
Yeah.
Well, are we excited about our faith? Or are we keeping it to ourselves? Or are we just acting like it's not important at all? And that's the importance of evangelization. It's our responsibility to tell the fullness of the faith. Let's go to Arthur.